How did Elizabeth battle the prejudice that she got roles thanks to her famous sisters? What curse words did she learn while studying in Russia?
Yes.
How did she massacre her first fiancé's heart?
Oh my goodness.
And what does she say about her sisters these days? Hi, I'm Joy. Let's get rolling. The third Olsen twin. It's hard to imagine the badass Scarlet Witch who makes people obey her will by a switch of a hand as someone who once suffered the need to prove herself. Yet, that's exactly what Elizabeth Olsen had to go through. All because she's the little sis of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. For those who lived under a rock in the 90s or weren't born yet, Lizzie's older sisters have been known as the Olsen twins since they were 9 months old, thanks to starring in the popular Full House show. They went on to star in other hit TV projects, including their own video series, The Adventures of Mary-Kate and Ashley. The twin stars became idols for a whole generation of teens. They earned their first $1 million before they'd even reached puberty and got so famous that the world was obsessing about them for a decade. Her sister's popularity turned Elizabeth's early years into pure insanity. The paparazzi's stalking literally scared her.
I don't like interacting with strangers. Not like hi, hello.
But it wasn't just that. See, Lizzie really wanted to be an actress as a child, and not because of the twins. She had always loved playing make-believe, and she attended singing lessons and ballet classes. I was the one that made everyone come to see me perform a musical that we made within 2 weeks, and they had to see 3 of them every summer. They have to go to every dance performance. It was always unique to me that I loved theater and dancing and singing. That difference made her feel like she wasn't just following in the twins' footsteps, it was her path. She even thought that if she would ever become an actress when she grew up, she would go by Elizabeth Chase, her middle name, so she would stand alone. Of course, Elizabeth started out with short appearances in the Olsen's films and series.
It was like after-school care.
But soon she moved on to audition for separate projects like Spy Kids and faced rejections. The young actress took it so hard that she almost quit her childhood dream at the age of 10. My parents made me write down a pros and cons list, and the cons just piled up. So I figured I'd keep acting as a hobby until I was older because I felt that pressure, and that people would say, oh, that's nepotism. Yup, Lizzie had to face that very grown-up notion while she was still just a little girl. She put her dream aside till high school, when she set to conquer that peak without the help of her sisters and on her own terms, by learning the craft up and down. I decided that as long as I felt confident and worked hard for it, instead of having it handed to me, no one could take that away from me. So she dug into it, and boy, it didn't come easy at all. Proving she earned it. After school, Olsen enrolled at NYU Conservatory for 5.5 years. That move was her way to prepare for the inevitable, prejudgment.
I had to be really confident in my own skills and abilities, and that no, I put in the time, because you're gonna say no matter what I do. If I'm bad, I'm bad. If I'm good, it's nepotism or whatever it is.
Right.
And so I was gearing up for it.
Her fellow students used to come to her room pretending to knock on the wrong door just to stare at her, because she's you-know-who's sister. At the same time, Lizzie admitted that the Olsen twins' fame made her more determined to study. Needing to prove herself to herself and to everyone else, she hunkered down to work hard. Which was okay for the perfectionist, type-A student and control freak that Elizabeth was. She even gained a certain reputation.
He was like, oh my God, you're the rehearsal Nazi. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you're the rehearsal Nazi. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, I heard you just love to rehearse. And I'm like, yeah, well, they tell us that that's so many hours we should be rehearsing. And he was like, no one does it. I was like, what?
In the midst of it, Olsen couldn't shake off the influence Mary-Kate and Ashley still had on her, which was their wardrobe. Obsessing about her sister's looks, Elizabeth roamed around second-hand stores grabbing everything that resembled the dresses or coats they wore. She dressed in the second-hand clothes without even washing them first.
What?
Olsen had the most fun while studying in Moscow for a semester. She not only learned theater there.
Shoot is what you say?
What are the dirty words?
Remembering the trials and tribulations the Olsen twins faced because of their early career, Elizabeth didn't start her own before she was 22. She played the main part in Silent House, supporting roles in the pretty well-known films Old Boy and Red Lights and indie hits like Liberal Arts. Olsen got cast thanks to obsessively auditioning for every project she could. Not because anyone was looking or asking for her in particular. I'm the kind of theater person who loves auditions, I really do. Whereas for a lot of actors, it's just a nightmare, all nerves and panic. Me, I just love to watch everyone sizing each other up, warily looking around the room to feel out the competition. Around that time, Elizabeth got into her first major relationship in the spotlight with actor and model Boyd Holbrook. After 2 years of dating, the couple got engaged, but just a year later, the fiancé called it off. Brutally. Holbrook revealed, "On the same day that my best friend died, I got a call from my girl to tell me it was over." Olsen never commented on the situation. And on the professional side, she still couldn't walk into a room without everyone already having an opinion of her.
I'm fine.
No matter how hard the nerd of an actress tried to prove she earned it all on her own, the old family ghost was still haunting her. Until she finally put her own stamp on her work. Somewhere in the middle of obsessive auditioning, it dawned on Elizabeth Olsen.
I was thinking, why am I not being seen for bigger films? Because I grew up being obsessed with Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Her agent set a few meetings and bam, Olsen was starring in Godzilla. Doing that movie, she met Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who was just about to become her on-screen brother Quicksilver in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At last, the Avengers movies were Liz's real graduation from nepotism school. Cause you can't just get into such a massive studio project with such a huge cast and stay there for so many years just because 10 years ago your sisters were TV stars, right? Olsen blended into the superhero mix perfectly, and it was the right place to unleash her rehearse fanatic, control freak perfectionist side.
She's never lazy, she's fastidious, she's always comes to set with an idea. She's incredibly punctual.
Our Wanda was also serving the romance vibes on the sets of the MCU movies. Step aside, Vision. I'm talking about the most kind-hearted superhero actor on the planet here, Chris Evans.
Guess what? Apparently we're dating.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, it's real exciting for us.
We kept it so secret, we didn't even tell each other.
Yeah.
Sadly for fans, it was just a rumor. Like everyone on the MCU team, these two simply nailed it fooling around. What was happening between the Scarlet Witch and another Avenger, Loki, appeared to be more serious. Actually, Tom Hiddleston and Elizabeth Olsen closed up while starring as a couple in I Saw the Light, and the rumors of them hooking up were never confirmed. Nonetheless, it still seemed that the attention Lizzie got from Tom on set was comforting enough to get her through the breakup with her ex-fiancé. But since 2017, there has been no room for gossip in Olsen's love life because she met musician Robbie Arnett. After 2.5 years of quietly dating, the lovebirds moved in together and are now a happily engaged couple. Just check out this emerald infinity stone on Wanda's finger. Ooh, you lost her there, Vision. Speaking of Wanda and Vision, Elizabeth Olsen has just secured her solo superhero stance in the MCU by starring in the WandaVision series. It's excellent in case you haven't watched it yet. And now we can't wait for her to reprise the role in the upcoming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Lizzie remains super diligent and very serious about everything she puts her creative stamp on, to such a degree that it even makes her a bit nervous.
Don't tell someone, like when you talk about me, she's a really serious person. Like no one likes serious people.
In fact, there's plenty of stuff that makes her nervous. Like, almost everything.
I'm afraid of like most things. Like anything high risk, I'm terrified of.
Here's a more terrifying story about Liz, Jimmy Kimmel, and a tiny restaurant.
I have really bad social anxiety. I felt really weird sitting through a meal not knowing if I should say hi to you or not. And so I just went to a different restaurant.
As for playing Wanda Maximoff, Olsen's probably the only Avenger who hates adrenaline rushes and feels embarrassed pulling off the magic moves with her hands without CGI. It's no wonder.
She's at a rave the whole movie.
Yeah.
Whole movie.
These days, the Avengers star doesn't sigh in discomfort when asked about Mary-Kate and Ashley. The twins have become fashion moguls, by the way, with their fashion label The Row. Their baby sister confirmed she still loves their style and admits, "My sisters are mainly an inspiration as business people, and whenever I feel like I'm ready to package some project of my own, they'll probably be the first people I'll talk to for advice." Judging by Lizzie's keen cooking, it wouldn't be surprising to see some lifestyle brand appearing from under her hand one day. If you're wondering now what's been happening in the Olsen twins' lives, check out our next video, or the one where OSSA gets into the juicy behind the scenes of WandaVision. Click here and stay awesome!